Take 3.
You got this.
Kevin Hunter and Susan Wood here on Real Estate Savvy on Northwest Digital News. And we're going to have some conversation around good investments, or the best investments as far as property is concerned, or best values, I guess is the better term, isn't it?
It is.
So you pulled up some properties here in our local market to give people examples of things to look for. And so let's start by taking a look at this piece of property that is on 420 16th Avenue.
Okay.
And from a realtor standpoint, what do you see wrong with this house?
Well, from a realtor standpoint, primarily we know that 95% of our buyers in our local marketplace are VA and FHA. So right now, this particular property only goes conventional or cash, which is 5% of your buyers.
It sounds like a big part of your market just went away.
It did. So if you were to, if you had the wherewithal and had a little bit of money that you could go in and obviously fix the peeling paint and spruce it up slightly, even give it a little mow job would be a plus. Just kind of bringing it back to life and picturing a buyer that would go up to and go, wow, that is a very cute house. Because that's the first thing somebody's going to look at is how it looks from the outside. That's going to draw them to want to go into the inside. So for me, that's the first thing is I'm looking at is who is my target market. And so when you have a small target market, you have to have a smaller target price.
Yep.
So to put more money into the home, and even, you know, $15,000 to $20,000 would bring you a much needed value, and you could easily make that and then some.
So it would not only open your market to a much broader spectrum of buyers, but the house is worth a lot more too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So you have a comparable piece of property on 607 16th. This is actually the same street in the same community, isn't it?
It is, just up 2 blocks. So as you can see, there's landscaping done. The house has been recently painted and well maintained. It just says, wow, that's a cute house. I would like to view that house. I could see myself living there. I could put my children there, my parents there. You can really envision what the home probably looks like on the inside. So if you look at this house compared to the last house, you can tell it's well kept. So immediately you're going to draw in much more clientele. Plus it opens up for the FHA and VA buyers. So I specifically know about this home is I had an offer in on it and I was one of 6. And
wow.
We offered, it was on the market for far less than it sold for, and we offered $15,000 more than it was on the market for, and it was cash, and we still lost.
Wow.
So
I see it sold for $215.
It did. So again, I think if you have the money to put into it, it's well worth it. So 2 blocks down, and this being a smaller house by 400 square feet, you're easily going to get roughly $215 for the other home if you were to put some money into it.
This is 2-bedroom, 1 bath, selling for $215.
Right.
Flip back to the other house real quick on 420 16th Avenue. And this house, a bigger home, 3-bedroom, 1 bath, at $159. Yeah, seems like a pretty, that's a $55,000 penalty for not thinking a little bit about the home.
It is, and if you have an agent, and again, sometimes agents have the ability to have contractors come in, do the work, spruce it up, and they will get paid after closing. Not all people are comfortable with that, but because it does put what's called a contractor's lien on your home. But it would sell much faster, much easier for more money. So in my opinion, if you have a good agent, not saying this person represents a bad agent, but if you have a good agent and the people are willing to take a gamble, it is well worth it. So.
All right, let's move along to a couple other pieces of property. One
Sure.
of these is on 125 Taylor Sands. Now this is, we're starting with the piece of property that somebody made some good moves with this piece, didn't they?
They did. They did. They went in and they did do some updates. So it does have new flooring. They did some updated cabinetry in the kitchen. Outside of that, and a couple bathroom fixtures. Outside of that, they really didn't do a ton of updating. They painted it. It is, as you'll see, comparatively speaking, on a home that's on a smaller lot, but it has river access, or it has the ability for the water access. So this is one of our more higher level homes in our community, and it's on the market for $750, and I personally know that it sold for $750. So it is going to close this week. So
Wow.
This home didn't take a lot. Again, they probably put 20 or 30,000 even for the size of this home into it, and it's well worth the money. So later down the road, even 2 years down the road, as long as the economy stays as it is, it's going to be, probably worth 50 to 60,000, if not more, at
Wow.
that point in time.
Nice.
Yeah, but beautiful home.
So we got another piece of property that actually is on the market at a much higher selling price, 7461 Willow Grove.
Yes.
I'm not familiar with this piece of property, but I look at even the what do you call it,
Architecture?
the retaining wall thing that's around the property, and I'm
Yes.
like, that has not seen a pressure washer in a long time.
Yes, it hasn't.
And the driveway, look at all the green moss growing on the driveway.
Or a lawnmower.
Yeah.
So, all in all, comparatively speaking, even looking at the other property, you can tell there was some landscaping done. It was spruced up compared to this home, which is of great concern. I've actually been in this home. It is very, very, very dated from the 60s to 70s era, from wallpaper to carpeting to everything else you could imagine. So, it being a solid home, but it needing a lot of time, love, and money put into it. Again, just with some pressure washing and landscaping and an outside paint job that's a little more complementary to the home, it still has, old windows in it, so it needs a lot of money put into it and a lot
Well,
of
if the
care.
interior is a little dated, the exterior has moss from like the 70s and 80s.
It does, and if you look at the price, it's $500,000 less or more than the other home.
Yeah.
So if you want $500,000, you probably should put some money into it. And again, it's on a larger lot. It's on 1.5 acres, and it does have river access again, but it's in the same general vicinity. So if you're going to have a home similar to this, you need to price it accordingly. And if you don't price it accordingly, it's going to sit there a very long time. And I've been in the home, like I said, it's a lovely home. It just needs a lot of work.
And at 1.2 million, you got to have deep pockets to address all the issues that the house has.
Exactly, because the electrical has not been updated, the plumbing has not been updated, so it needs love.
It's got some issues.
It does.
All right, so if you're thinking about properties for yourself, always think best value. And, we've talked about this before in previous shows, but there's a lot of basic bones to look for in a house. But always, if you're buying a home for resale purposes, of course you want to look for something that you can put a little bit of money into and flip
Right.
for a nice piece of property. I look at this, if you wouldn't mind, real quick, go back to this house that was at 420 16th Avenue. And I look at this particular piece of property, and I think about investment standpoint. There's room. The home that's down the block that sold for $215,000, a
Right.
smaller house.
Right.
There's room to put a little bit of money and a little bit of thoughtful investment into this house, and turn this home over for that $215,000 or
Plus.
maybe more.
Absolutely. Yeah, because you can, if you've got an eye, and you do, I know you do, you can envision what this house could look like.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a bad little home. And it would make a great little starter home. And if you've got the money and you can do conventional, this would be a great flipping home.
Yeah.
So, especially if you're going to live in it
Yeah.
for a little while. So, absolutely, I would snag it up in a heartbeat, because I think that if the owner is not wanting to put money into it, or maybe truly cannot, then it would be a great investment property for somebody.
Well, if you're out there shopping for homes for yourself, look for homes that really, from the standpoint of an investor, you'd say are best values, and spend your time and effort there.
Absolutely.
Kevin Hunter with Susan Wood here on Real Estate Savvy. Thanks, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you.